Welcome to All Across Fitness. My name is Jason. Today I'm talking to you about regionals versus sanctionals. So just cast your mind back to August of last year. The CrossFit Games have just finished. Matt Fraser, Tia-Clair Toomey once again crowned as the fittest man and woman on earth. Pat Vellner's made it to the podium despite everything and anything that could go wrong going wrong. And Laura Horvath has made it to the podium, showing what a threat she could be in the future. We are celebrating. We are enjoying this glorious celebration of fitness. And before the month has even ended, well, rumours start to circulate. For example, Arm & Hammer has posted a video on the 20th of August saying that regionals are going away. What is the response to this news, to these rumours? You're lying, you're crazy, you're making it up. CrossFit would never let this happen. We'll jump ahead to February and things have changed. Regionals are well and truly a thing of the past. We have our sanctioned events. 4 sanctionals have already taken place. A 5th one is about to start with Strength in Depth in London, and we're also about to kick off the Open. Yes, things have changed, but what better time than ever to compare regionals to sanctionals? But I am looking at this from the point of view of a spectator, my point of view. I didn't go to regionals, I'm probably never going to sanctionals, but I am going to watch them and enjoy them. So then sound off in the comments below, what do you prefer? Did you like watching regionals, or are you enjoying the sanctional format? Because I'm going to give you some pros and cons for both of them, so I'd love to know your opinion. So let's look at the road to the games going through regionals. Now we're going to use 2018 as our example because that was the most recent one. Obviously things changed over the years, but that's the one we'll use for the sake of this video. So how would you get to regionals? Well, of course, you'd go through the Open. So the Open kicked off on the 22nd of February. It ran to March 26th. 5 weeks, 5 workouts. Post your score online. Now, I'm going to talk about the Open a lot more in an upcoming video. So for now, I'm just going to leave it at that. Obviously, for a spectator, not a lot of fun to watch. Occasionally, we saw some footage, and quite often that footage led to controversy, maybe with regards to reps and whether or not people's scores were really what they should have been. But jump ahead 2 months. Now it's true within that time there were online qualifiers, but if we're looking at the main stage, we're jumping ahead 2 months with nothing happening until we hit regionals. So last year we had 9 regions. Over 3 weekends these events took place. They were the same workout at every regional. Now, what were the positive things? Well, as I've said, they were the same workout. That meant it was fair. Everybody was competing on a level playing field. You could compare your score directly with another region. You could see where you stacked up. CrossFit was completely in control. It also meant they could be broadcast in an excellent way. The way the regions were set up actually made it easy and convenient for them to broadcast them. But what were the flaws? What were the downfalls? Well, as I've said, they were fair. But were they really fair? Because depending on where you lived, that was debatable. If you were in a stacked region, your score that might have got you 2nd, 3rd, maybe even 1st in another region, well, that only landed you in 7th or 8th where you were. That meant you didn't get your ticket to the games. And maybe you felt cheated. Maybe that left a bitter taste in your mouth. But even then, could you really compare? Take a region like the South region. They competed in Salt Lake City. The elevation there meant it was very difficult for athletes that weren't used to that. So if they'd been at your region, maybe the score they would have got would have been somewhat more impressive. Maybe it would have beaten your score anyway. So we couldn't really compare as easily as some might think. And what about from the point of view of a spectator? Yes, it was easy to watch. Yes, it was high quality, but it was the same thing 3 weeks in a row. The first week was exciting. The second week was interesting to compare them, but by the 3rd week, it was starting to get a little bit stale. Jump ahead another 2 months and we get to the games. Now, of course, the games, that's the big show. That's the one we're all looking forward to. That's the one we want to see. And unfortunately, I'm not going to talk about it because until the games happen this year, I don't really have anything to compare it with. But don't worry, that video will definitely happen in the future. Now, I've said we jump ahead 2 months, nothing happens. We jump ahead another 2 months, nothing happens. That's not quite true. There were a lot of competitions going on within those periods. Wodapalooza was still a thing. The Granite Games, Strength in Depth, they all took place. Who won? Do you know? Did you care? Obviously, big CrossFit fans or people that were local that could attend those competitions, they were interested. But a lot of people didn't know about them. They weren't getting the publicity that they do now. Why? Because now they matter. the winner or maybe the runner-up, if there's backfilling happening, they are going to the games. These competitions mean something. So that's a good thing, right? What have we had so far? Well, we've seen Dubai CrossFit Championship, Wadapalooza, the Australian CrossFit Championship, Fittest in Cape Town, and we're about to get Strength in Depth. That means we've been in Dubai, we've been in Miami, we've been in Queensland, we've been in Cape Town, we've been in London. So we're getting a great diversity as well, but we're also getting different types of competition. Now the Open is about to kick off, and that is going to change things. It's going to mean the people that got invited from these competitions, well, that could be shuffled about a little bit. But it also means future competitions, future sanctional events, well, they're going to be very interesting because people are going to be competing who know they don't have a chance to go through the Open. This is their shot. They are going to be hungry. They're going to be determined. And that is going to make for interesting competition and interesting viewing. What events do we have coming up? Well, the Sanctionals we know that we've got this year. There will be additional ones next year. But this year, in April, we're going to have the Mid-Atlantic CrossFit Challenge. We're going to have the Asia CrossFit Championships. And we're going to have CrossFit Italian Showdown. In May, we've got the Reykjavik CrossFit Championship, and Brazil CrossFit Championship, Down Under CrossFit Championship, the Rogue Invitational, and then at the end of the month and going into June, we're going to have the Granite Games, the Lowlands Throwdown, and at the end of June, we're going to have the French Throwdown as well. So a lot of interesting competitions are taking place. Now, what are the negative things about Sanctionals? Well, the biggest complaint that I've seen so far is with regards to watching it at home or watching it online. There have been a lot of problems. Now, at times, I feel it's unfair to complain. For example, Dubai used YouTube. It was free. You could just log on and you could watch it. They live streamed the events. They posted up the videos afterwards. Were there problems? Yes. Biggest problem was probably due to a copyright strike on some of the music that meant they had the video taken down and there was a huge delay in getting it back up. While I was watching the live stream, I didn't have any problems. But in the comments section, I could see a lot of people did. So it's understandable that they were complaining. But once again, this was a free service. You didn't pay anything for this. And for me personally, it worked quite well. Fittest in Cape Town have just used Facebook. That also worked pretty well. Quality of the video was not exceptional, but you could see what was going on. You could at least follow what was happening. And once again, it was free. So we can't complain. Probably the biggest offender so far has been Wadapalooza. But once again, was that really their fault? Or was it the fault of Flow Elite? A service that made you have to pay to view it and then didn't provide a good service. At that point, I'm going to let you complain. I can understand. If you've paid for something, you're going to expect a certain quality of service that it didn't provide. But really, these could be described as teething problems. Last year, maybe we didn't care what was going on. So they didn't have that infrastructure to make sure they could broadcast a high quality product. But going forward, that could change. What are the positive things about Sanctionals? Well, they're different. The programming is different. Each competition has its own unique flavor, its unique taste. Go to Dubai, for example. There was open water events. There was a run through the desert. Cape Town, they were throwing you a curveball with all their different events. Wadapalooza, this big fitness festival, had great team events. So there was a lot going on. Each competition has its own flavor, its own style. Also, because of the location and the fact that we're not going to see the same people going to all of these competitions, we're going to start to see new faces. If we're honest, at the games, at regionals, we only ever really focus on top 5, top 10, which means if you're not in that number, you're kind of an unknown. But now going to these other competitions with different people going to be there, it means maybe you were top 10 at the games, you're going to be top 5 at this competition. Maybe you were top 15, you could be in the top 10. We're going to start to see new faces emerge, new personalities, and that can only be a good thing.
You're listening to a Pave Media show.
Visit pavemedia.net for more podcast and video entertainment.